really played towards it here. Melanic, pretty sure, like showing that he's a very competent player. You put him on things like Gwen, you put him on things like Jace, he performs quite well in lane, but he doesn't get those resources. GameWard don't really seem to, overall as a team, play for him to succeed. And again, I'm going to keep driving this point home. Play how you, or draft how you want to play. If you're going to play for top lane, draft for top lane. I don't want to see like Jinx and Jace or something like that more often than not. Just put a tank on the top side if you want to play through bot.
Yeah, let's see if they do it, because Melanic's somebody who loves to play these carry top lanes, Graves, Jace, Gwen, you name it, wants to be put on champions that can usually have a little bit more control over his own lane here. So will he be thrown back on like a Gragas, back on an Ornn? That'll be the question, but into the bans here for us. A lot of attacking down in the bot side. Thresh, Caitlyn, Aphelios from GameWard really making sure Misfits aren't comfortable, at least going into phase one.
Yeah, you gotta imagine at this point, doing so, Misfits might consider banning away the Jinx just because that's the play here. That's probably the next best thing here on Blue 1. But the thing also is that you're gonna leave the Jhin up as well. So if you end up banning the Jinx, I guess you end up getting rid of that handshake here, but they ban it anyway. So I guess they're okay with that. Woolite saying, yeah, whatever, I'll take whatever. You won't do that.
That's not happening.
No, it's not happening, no. That maybe. Oh, wait. Okay, I thought I got really scared.
I was gonna say, really?
B1 Kassadin?
I was gonna say, what are your solo queue games looking like?
I don't know, man. It would have been something ridiculous, but okay, the Vex would be interesting just because we've seen her falling out of favor in recent memory. Wow, we're really running the clock right now. This is the longest I've ever seen it.
It's one of those moments where it's like, you're like, okay, what do you want? And they're like, oh, should we draft jungle? Should we get Vex? Is all these questions been going around, and then they finally
didn't expect the Jinx ban.
No, I think you're right. I think they probably didn't expect it, and they were willing just to handshake it like you were saying. But, it is gonna be the Xin Zhao. This has been a very popular champion, and you know, something like Akabane, it's right up his alley. One thing we can say about him is that we've seen him get leads in the early games with these Lee Sins and stuff like that, but is he going to be able to do this on something like a Xin Zhao? Yeah,
that's going to be the question. I think they like it too just because it's a takeaway from tanks. I think he's been really good on the Xin Zhao early on. He is one of those players, rather, who does quite well in this champion. Aggressive early plays, nice early jungle pathing to be able to set up the rest of his team. You know what, though? You know what's good about that, Austin?
What's that?
Lee Sin is also a good champion for that. Can I direct you to your screen, please, and see that Tinks has gotten that for himself?
He has gotten that for himself, and I'm actually really happy that Tinks has gotten this, because you look back at one of his Xin Zhao games from last week, he was so aggressive, he was making a lot of plays happen in the lanes, and that's exactly what you need, because it feels like the first 5 to 10 minutes of the game, you want to be active, and then actually the game feels like it tends to slow down up until, you know, the mid portion of the game. So if you can get a lot done in the early game, you can certainly be extremely effective, start snowballing your team, so I like that, but now they're also going to pick up an AD carry here for themselves, as the Jhin is locked in, and I know you wish that was also locked in.
I wish. We're not on that patch yet, Austin. I know Checolad, I'm pretty certain is an Ahri player, so it's a little homage to his champion that I'm sure he's going to be very excited to play soon. But for the moment here, the Jhin, like that one for Inax, I think that's probably some of the best we've seen from him so far when he is on this pick. Checolad, of course, on these scaling picks where you can play towards those later stages of the game, I think is also where he succeeds. It's usually the core keep, but that one's taken away. I think Victor is a fine exception. I agree.
And Checolad, I think also, you know, we go back to week 1, he was having pop-ups on Corki. You can obviously see the respect bam in the bottom right-hand corner, making sure he does not get any Corkies, but he has been one of the strong standouts here for this team, and he's opted into some weird picks like Azir and things like this, but we'll see if he's going to be able to find favor on Victor. Looks like we might get a potential Ezreal coming in, and that is the case, so might be playing towards a top side here for someone like Irrelevant. At least leaves that option open.
I like that a lot, just because of the fact that you can go over the support pick on 4 here for Misfits, and overall, Woolite being on this pick, like, it's going to be strong later on, but it's very safe early, and like you said, it opens opportunities to play away. The Twisted Fate for Chayak does mean that, of course, you're going to have a lot of options for those very same plays. You could go bot, you could go top. The point is, Woolite's in a position with this champion that he should be okay regardless, farm safely under tower and everything like that.
Absolutely. Certainly the case here for us. Bans now, phase 2. Looks like Gwen's coming out.
That's good.
A little respect over to some Akshan as well, making sure he's not being thrown into any of these lanes. I mean, you already have the TF, so I can't imagine it would be going mid, but we have seen it played on top on occasion in certain regions here as well. And now some of the pinches, of course, onto the supports. Both teams still need there, so I want to try to limit the most engaged they possibly can.
Right, and I also agree. I like the Akshan ban at this point now for GameWard. You probably want to try and ban out another top laner just because you know, or you're almost certain, that Irrelevant is going to be getting that R5 counter pick. And at this point, GameWard, I think This could go either one of two ways here. Technically, you could actually go for the Ornn on 4. I mean, like, it's the pick of the day, if we're being honest here, and put Irrelevant on that, and just make sure GameWard can't take it for themselves here. Because if you look, like, a lot of team fight setup is already kind of there. You have the Xin, of course, for that engage. You have the Curtain Call follow-up, and I think the Ornn would just kind of be that last piece of the puzzle here that they might want to go for. I think Leona is also fine. It's something Chameleus has played a lot, does check the same box, so being able to take that away and have that for yourself is also nice.
Yeah, I actually think that's the main reason they just picked the Leona. Take it away from Chameleus, because this has been one of its comfort champions. I mean, we've seen, you know, interesting things from Chameleus, because last week he played the Lulu in lane, and they got slapped around a little bit, right? I mean, that was the Thresh into the Enchanter, kind of what you expect if you end up getting hooked. If you can't play safe in lane, then you're going to struggle. So we'll see what Chameleus does want to respond with. It might be a Gangplank in the top lane, and actually it will be a Gangplank here in the top lane. So added pressure with the Cannon Barrage across the map.
Yeah, and now we're just going to see what the support pick ends up being. It could still very well be the Nautilus. I think that would be just fine for Chameleus there. Kind of checks the similar boxes off for this Leona. And the thing I'm most interested in, actually, is it'd be really funny if Misfits go for that Cho'Gath on the R5, because that is just painful for Gangplank to play into there, and it'd be a really good way to kind of punish the blind pick if that's something Irrelevant's interested in playing. Either way, I think we're starting to see this lean towards a little more of a sort of tank bruiser style kind of pick for Irrelevant. I think that would work.
Well, let's figure out what Misfits want to grab to get their final 5 going into Summoner's Rift. We talked about Melanic being one of the carry tops. Do you want to opt in for a carry matchup? Nope, they want to get another frontliner in there. So going to be able to have someone assisting the Leona follow-up. Great for covering your TF and your Ezreal. And I will say, Woolite had a couple of pop-offs last year on the Ezreal. Had some pentakills coming in. I was watching. I remember watching the highlights when we were prepping for LFL during the offseason. We're like, oh my god, dude. Woolite. We'll see what ends up taking place here for us. A lot of new picks coming in. A lot of interesting ones. The TF, Shayak looking to see if he can play a little bit more disciplined in his own lane to be able to affect the others on the side lane. You got Melanic also back on one of these carries that could be very effective here. So we'll see what the game plan is for both of these squads.
And I like it. Just to look at Melanic for a second here on this Gangplank. Now more in a position to succeed here. You know, you have Inax on this Jhin, has performed very well. A lot of setup potential, a little more on that utility side, and you set up for that DPS. I mean, I talked about it when we were on the desk for talking about the last draft for the previous game, and just the fact that because Jhin was gone, we saw the Varus come through. Well, the next best thing is actually the Jhin himself. So Inax being there to support Melanic on this Gangplank could serve for actually a better result. Really clear win cons and really clear idea of what they want to do.
Definitely. Will be opposite sides finally. The majority of all of our matches have been top side, at least the ones that we have casted here so far. So might end up seeing a top play potentially take place, maybe more or less just to cover Melanic early on in the stages. And well, Inax, he's going to be giving us a lot of emotes. That's one thing we've learned here from this guy. Yeah. And we'll see how he's going to be able to do on the Jhin. It does feel like he's going back to something that he has actually found success with in lane in the past. We saw the Jinx last week. We already talked about it. Did struggle a bit, but now back on the utility for setting up his team. And already here. It's only level 1, so we'll get some health back, but he's eating a lot of damage.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about with this player. Very aggressive, very skilled, and it shows. Now he's playing out here in this early laning phase. Chayak, though, newer player. Both him and Irrelevant, someone Misfits talked about, kind of building a more experienced core around them. When you look at Tinks, Vander, and Woolite, talking to some people over at Misfits, it's kind of like what they feel to be the perfect mix there, because you don't want too many rookies, you don't want too many veterans, you want this perfect blend here, and oh my god, we have a play.
Oh, Shayak, he's gonna get absolutely jumped on by 3 players as the retreat. No, Akabane can't get in there, and a level 2 roam from Vander to make sure Checolad is not finding early success.
Austin, I can't see those post-death stats, but I already tell you that combat time and CC time are even. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, look at this again one more time, and yeah, Checolad, he wasn't allowed to play the game here for about 5 seconds.
No, listen here, buddy. Take your hands off the keyboard. It's done and dusted. I hope you have teleport. Luckily, he does, so he's going to come back to lane there. No trades to be found. And there it is. Chayak gets his revenge right away from some nice, jungle support roams here from Vander and Tinks. That experience we talked about already coming in clutch.
Wow, level 2 roam, and then
Yeah.
It's just so intelligent, too, because you know he's Ezreal. You know he's going to take the Arcane Shift second. So it's like if they try to make a play, he should be able to get himself out of it. He has the heal, he has the flash, he has the Arcane Shift, so much mobility. And now Akabane also, meeting Tinks to try to get something back there in the mid lane. They should know exactly where he is. They should know that he did not have his blue buff, so that means that he will be on the top side, and Irrelevant's playing weak side on the side. Just needs to farm and just hold his own. So already, I would say a solid start for Misfits.
Even though we know that the champion of the week is kind of like the Ornn and how good it is on the weak side, dude, I think Sion is like the weak side king when it comes to top laners. This dude just soaks
Passive
up
is
waves,
nice,
no problem. Yeah, exactly. And it's just so easy for Irrelevant to have no attention on that side of the map here. Didn't quite catch the way Tinks moved, but I think, yeah, he didn't actually spot him out. Does manage to walk up, place the ward, and say, all right, Tinks, I know you're there. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, spotted him out, know exactly where he is, and will force him to move and reset as Tinks will go back and spend his first blood gold. So he's going to be now in a better position as he gets back out here, but tempo at least available for Akabane. They should know that he hasn't reset yet with the vision that they got on him. So we'll have to see if Akabane wants to come down here. It is a pushing wave, so not going to necessarily be easy, but Vander does not have his flash if they wanted to opt in for a target. Ignite also available here for Camelius if he ever ends up finding an angle. And I think we keep coming back to Akabane here for this team because, I mean, we've seen him actually build up a lot of early leads. We go to the match versus Solari where he found the red buff. It took a camp on top of it, forced Joko into a really bad situation, but wasn't really able to do a lot with it here. And, we've talked about this in Xiao all day, Beatdown. It's like, we need to see this champion try to make plays. Obviously, he used his flash in the middle lane. It didn't end up working out for a trade, and he went flash for flash, but you have to continue to be proactive.
Right, because it's going to be so much tougher for you to be able to not only be proactive, but also reactive. When you think about Chayek coming really close to that level 6 mark, and we are going to see that Destiny come through, Akabane needs to get some of these early leads, because as soon as Chayek hits that Magic 6, Misfits are going to start getting really aggressive with some of these plays here. Making the play top lane, I think, would be a great start after this Dragon play, just because of the fact that you have Melanik, who is on this gangplank, going to scale really well. Why don't you try and hamper his game a little bit?
You can certainly try. Vision's going to be cleared out. Tinks, obviously, being a little bit further ahead for as far as the gold, will be able to move in and have a little bit of a level advantage here over Akabane, who now just hit the level 5, but will be up slightly in the XP department. Mid lane, no flash here. Remember, the Chain CC did come through with the gold card, and there is a lot of respect right now. Camelius is missing. They don't have eyes on Akabane, so Chayek is trying to play his life as safe as he can. Flash over the wall. The hook found the mark. A little bit of an interesting one, but hey, you'll take it, and Checolat gets the kill.
Yeah, I'm getting Season 1 Overwatch vibes from that one. I'm not going to lie, Austin, but ultimately Chayek will go down. I bet he's a punch in the air after that one. It is a nice return play from the support jungle of GameWard, finally getting something on the board for themselves here, much like they're trying to do overall when it comes to their series score here in LFL Spring. I mean, more activity is what we wanted from them. Need to see Akabane continue making these plays, especially once he gets access to that Crescent Guard. Even though he won't be able to go for the Dragon, it looks like, ultimately this is still good for GameWard overall to continue trying snowballing.
Might be the very first Hextech drag of the day as well. Nice little way to send off Game 5. I could be wrong on that. That could be a vision stat. We'll make that a thing.
Yeah. Maybe.
But either way, they get it. They secure it. Misfits use that bot lane priority to be able to swiftly move over and make sure they're securing a neutral objective. And now we'll take a look at that hook here one more time.
God, yeah, I mean, this is the only thing worth talking about. I think the movement from Chayek is good. Like, you place the ward, he tries to get around the wall. Oh, yeah, I'm not happy about that in any capacity. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, if it was any other sport that could challenge it, that would be one of those moments. We're challenging that play right there.
Absolutely. Dude, imagine they had that in League.
That'd be interesting. That would be interesting. But either way, they get the kill. Flash comes out. Camelius sets up the play, just like we saw from Checolat, where 3 players entered his lane. Now the same has been done over to Chayek as well here. So overall, it's just a slight gold lead for Misfits, but you can still see how much respect Chayek is currently showing Checolat here, and because of that, you can see that starting to be reflected in the CS score between the two.
Yeah, and I mean, overall, it is partially expected, just given the fact that Checolat especially is going to have some insane wave clear coming up once he ends up evolving that E. with the laser, and actually it's already evolved right now, so there it is. His ability to poke outside of Chayek's range definitely makes this one tough, and it does mean you do have to consider these flank angles, or rather these roam timers you're looking for as Chayek, because of the fact that you didn't start with TP when you took Spellbook, meaning that if you try to make a play, Chocolate is going to be able to take a lot of farm and potentially plays.
All right, here we go, right through. The Cyan ultimate is going to actually hit up the support here. Akabane's been able to hold on to his life, but finally they take down Chameleus. It will be the Rift Herald secured. Melanik and Checolad looking for their next target. It will be a red card that comes out, but now Inax has been able to find the angle. We'll start layering down some shots. It is going to be a flash ultimate there from Chayek forced out.
Wow, I mean, GameWard do get the Rift Herald secured for themselves here, but Misfits end up coming up with the fight win, picking up a kill for themselves. Tinks is going to go up to 2-0 at the moment here, and just continue this small lead Misfits have for themselves early on. Now, hopefully with Rift Herald, Akabane and the rest of GameWard are going to be able to try and make a pretty big play here, whether it is an attempt to bot dive Woolite or something. They are going to be able to get a lot of gold in their pockets and start to close this lead here. It's also worth noting too, so much trouble for Chayek in this mid lane that even Tinks has to come through and help, and also Tinks gets chunked out.
Does get chunked out quite a bit here. And blue buff maybe not going to be gifted over, it looks like. So Tinks is going to grab that for himself. That is his level 7 bot lane. Gotta love that interaction there. We saw it in the mid lane, but it works quite well for Woolite whenever that hook lands, as long as he uses that arcane shift at the right place at the right time. But it will be Checolad that does actually claim his blue buff.
Yeah, and I think it just means it's going to be that much easier for Checolad. Stay in lane, spam abilities, and just keep the lane pushed up here. And as we wait for Akabane to find an area, an angle to use this Rift Herald, we have Tinks now, who's on this bottom side of the map. You can see it's dark besides that trap. We're going to see whether or not there's actually an angle for them here, though. Inax going on the recall is going to cancel that.
Haven't seen the Destiny used just yet, and that's mainly been due to the pressure that Checolad has been putting onto Chayek, not having a flash here, not wanting to fall further behind in farm in XP. That's something that, you know, I think typically goes unnoticed when, yeah, sure, the TF is typically getting his lanes ahead, but if he's not getting the kills, then he's not necessarily putting himself in a better place, just his teammates. So being down already a good 20-30 CS here is going to be feeling the pressure, but we'll continue to try to move throughout the fog and just make sure that, you know, specifically Inax is on his toes here. But I think the good news here is that you've actually drafted yourself, you know, a team where you have, you know, the Scurvy in the top lane to make sure that you dodge out on, rather, you know, stop the CC from landing with the gold card, and you obviously have Inax here with the cleanse. So not easy to set it up, more or less only going to be useful if you see someone overextending like Akabane or something like this here.
Now it's Akabane looking for the play here with that Rift Herald. It is Inax alone in this bottom side of the map, but instead with Chameleus showing up, it could be the play here mid lane. I mean, Checolad, a player we often say GameWard should really try to enable a play through getting him these extra turret plates when he already has a 30 CS lead. I think would be a fine way to do it as well. They could very well be waiting for this dragon that is coming up very soon. But as I say it, I think, did they just drop it? Yeah, they did.
They did drop it, so looking for some of those plates. Tinks is here. Are they going to be able to smite it down? No, it does end up cracking the plates. But yeah, very close. Almost stop and neutralize the plate in full, but the plates end up going over. They get shared with Checolad, exactly where you want more of that gold to go.
Right, and you can see it. The CS lead just continues to grow. The gold gap continues to grow too because of those turret plates. And now, because you're in a position where your jungler actually recalled just there, you actually lose pressure over and around this dragon pit. So this could be big for Misfits, even though so far things have been going mildly in their favor in some ways, less in others. I think being able to dragon stack would be a great way for them to really secure this lead they have.
Likely might be the play here. Misfits are on the dragon first, and it doesn't look like, based off where we see everyone else, that they're looking to put up a fight for it. It's going to be Akabane just simply going into his jungle, farming out the red buff. Bot lane's going to take a reset to make sure no dives come through, but the True Shot Barrage is going to stop them, make them hang around a little more, and might also actually make them lose a wave.
I'm honestly really surprised that GameWard don't even make an attempt for this dragon. The fact that you let Misfits go up to 2, you were in a good enough position where you could make this play happen. Top laners can't actually join the fight, so Melanik's in a great position where he can help with the cannon barrage. Letting that go, I think, gives away a lot of pressure onto Misfit Premier's side, and it means that if they manage to snag this third dragon, Austin, they're going to be in a really good position to get Soul or force an awkward fight here from GameWard when maybe they wouldn't be ready for it.
Well, 13 minutes into this game, Misfits still growing the lead, taking more objectives. Gonna have a rift coming up here believe decently soon. That will likely be the next objective. Vander has been waiting to pounce, and Inax is forced out with the cleanse and the flash, and that all comes back to the True Shot Barrage stopping his back.
Yeah, and it's even worse too. Vander still has the Solar Flare. He's holding on to it just because he wanted that cleanse out of Inax. Although now he's pretty confident. Luckily for Misfits, their jungler, Tinks, shows up. The problem is Checolad is also there. All that lane prior. What does that mean, Austin? You walk down before the Twisted Fate. How crazy is that? He has the global ultimate or the semi-global ultimate, and now he doesn't get the first move. Luckily, though, it allows him to push the wave in, I think, for the first time this game.
And I will say, you know,
oh my God, it's gone.
Yeah, just one laser. It's like, thanks. I'll just come and clean that up. And then, oh, you want to go for a run play? All right, you're going to miss a whole wave if you do. So Shayak yet to really be able to find any kind of a window to use this ultimate. Woodlight doesn't go over the wall. That's a misplay. He should be fine, but no, Akabane follows. And now the fourth shot goes wide. The Solar Flare locks him down. Akabane will finish off the kill. Arcane Shift not getting over the wall.
Yeah, really big mistake coming through from Woodlight, giving away gold, narrowing this lead here, and allowing GameWard to keep it within 600 here. That's a big deal. He's going to lose out on a good bit of farm as a result of it, because he's going to walk his way back down in what's going to be 14 seconds. Vander, of course, being the good guy support, doing his best to hold on to that wave for him here. But what does that mean? No Wu Light means no contest for this Rift Herald. GameWard are very likely, uncontestedly, going to pick up Herald number 2 and can use that to break open that very weak mid lane turret.
Yeah, they sure can. And boy, oh boy, you can see Shayak. He wants to. Now,
yeah.
The big thing is that when the Destiny is up, it is constantly in your opponent's mind. Like, okay, you know, he has the ultimate available. You have to always keep that in mind whenever you're making a play on the map. What are the numbers looking like? You know, do we have Cannon Barrage? All of this. But, I mean, it's also 15 minutes, and we haven't seen one ultimate here. So,
yeah,
not really being able to be too proactive with it so far. And now we can see Akabane. He is looking to see if he might be able to secure the second Rift for GameWard.
It's looking like that will more than likely be the case. Woodlight is here. Did rotate to match Inax in the top lane, but ultimately, I don't know if there's an actual play to be made. Herald is about to go down. Checolad walked through the chem fog. He's so strong at the moment, he doesn't even care that he might run into somebody here, especially holding on to the flash. That means Herald is there. Easy mid-prio with the laser, with the rest of Checolad's kit, and that means there's an option for Akabane to do so. I think he's holding on to it for the moment, but you got to imagine it's going mid-side when Dragon's up.
Have not really seen anything from Melanic and
yeah.
Relevant. They have certainly done the whole handshaking here in the landing phase, and the observer camera, observers in general, have not really panned over to it because not a whole lot's been happening. But now maybe a roam play. Irrelevant is making an appearance into the mid lane. Checolad could be in trouble.
Oh, nice.
Tries for the flash, but that was a really nice reaction there from Checolad to make sure that he survives.
Yeah, absolutely no ego. It's like, listen, buddy, I need to hold on to my life. So he flashes right away, preventing the play from Tinks coming through. But we have another.
Finally, the Destiny comes down, and it's going to be for a successful play. They're going to find a kill, but will they get one back? Right in the mix of it right now is the jungler. Akabane uses the ultimate here.
Oh my God.
And he snipes him. Wind becomes lightning for the kill onto mid. Shayak is down. 4 versus 4 here.
Oh, Irrelevant is low.
Can make it over. Irrelevant is actually very low. Safeguard comes in, and that might have very well just saved Irrelevant's life, as finally both teams might start to back down.
Probably going to be the case, even though Akabane does get low with that True Shot Barrage, but there it is. Big plays from GameWard, and what does that mean? The fact that Irrelevant TPs away and GameWard still come out on top, Melanic gets to take this turret all by himself. You talk about handshake farming, Austin. I know you know as well as I do. Gangplank is not a champion. You should allow a handshake farm, because now he gets all this gold in the side wave. I'm really scared to see what that recall is going to look like. Trinity Force and 3 long swords. It's about to be something silly.
Well, here comes our next dragon. And this is going to have to be one that GameWard fight over. You do not want Soul Point to go over to Misfits, and they are going to be here first. They should be able to get this down. You still have Woolite, it's fairly far away. Tinks doesn't exactly have a safe way in, so I think this one will likely be conceded. Irrelevant might walk up and see what's going on, but it shouldn't mean anything unless they want to take the fight. Irrelevant's walking like,
oh my God, the barrel!
He is already going to be deleted, forced into the stopwatch. Can they zone for him? Another barrel combo up and ready. This one won't find Vander, but that will be the flash that comes through for him, trying to make an ambitious play, but will be forced out here and no longer has the stopwatch.
Oh, here's the thing, Austin. Vander, so very squishy when you think about it. I know you're thinking this is a Leona, but 1, Vander goes Glacial Augment, so you don't get those bonus resistances when you go in. 2, because of all the AD champions, champions. He goes the plated steel caps. What does that mean? It means Checolad knocks this guy on his rear anytime Vander tries to go in. And I think that's why ultimately we probably should consider, I mean, look across the board here. Steel caps on pretty much everybody on the side of Misfits besides Chayek. So Checolad is in a wonderful spot to just continue outputting this damage here because there are no resistances built.
He sure is. And now looking at what they're going to play for next here, they still have the Rift Herald available for Akabane. He's coming back out on the map. He just picked up a stopwatch, and that usually signals, all right, something's about to go down here. It's just a matter of where they want it to. Mid lane would probably be the target. Opening up the map a little bit more with that tier 1 going down in the mid lane would be ideal here for GameWard. That's exactly where Akabane is pathing, and that's likely where everything is going to take place. But in the meantime, they're able to at least get a tower top as Woolite. Is he in trouble? When he goes in. Woolite kiting it out. The Destiny going to follow, but he flashes over the wall, and Akabane is going to chase him down. Kill comes through, looking back in the middle of the lane. It's going to be Inax for the second. Somehow Akabane is still alive. The hook is going to land. Irrelevant will drop, and now they can use that Rift Herald with all the picks they just got for maybe even 2 towers.
Oh, it's definitely going to be 2. They could even let Shelly charge into the inhib turret there. Big fight coming through from GameWard to be able to pull this one out, especially from Akabane. Austin, we wanted to see him make plays. We wanted to see him make moves in the early game. That's exactly what he has been doing, and he has been having an impact here, even in this mid game, catching people out, punishing these oversteps from people like Woolite and Chayek. Because of that, now we're seeing GameWard finally pull ahead in the overall gold lead here, and they're going to continue snowballing this because the fact is they denied that soul point from Misfits. They don't have to worry about this next dragon being the soul, and honestly, they're strong enough where they can actually play for it here. The only downside to what just happened is that the Baron is only just coming up now, and it's not something they could have played for.
That is very true. That would have been a Baron play without a doubt. But looking at what GameWard are doing, I mean, this has definitely been one of the better games we've seen for them.
Yes.
Most of the time, they're down in golds going into the 20-minute mark, but here they find themselves up. It's just maintaining it, making sure that they can keep this going here for themselves. We look back to, the items that are coming through. Woolite still a little bit behind, looking for that second item, Power Spike. That's when the Ezreal really starts to come online. But oh my, that's a lot of damage. Checolad's like, oh, do you have anyone here? I want to move in, but doesn't want to risk it, still does not have the flash up.
No, and honestly, Checolad at this point, he has the Chaos Storm available now. He's going to be able to make a play if he wants to. Chameleus is nearby because he knows it as well. And there it is. You're still 2 minutes from drag. You want to control this top side of the map. You want to break that tier 1 turret, and that's what Checolad is going to do. And what that means is GameWard break open this map that much more. All the tier 1 towers are taken off the map here on Misfits side, and it means that you don't really have much control over vision if you're Misfits. You can see them having to react, having to clear these waves so they can preserve that tower a little bit longer. But look at the wards. There's so much vision here. GameWards have pushed their vision line so far up that Misfits, especially with this chem fog here, have to be very careful.
Always makes you wonder where everyone is, especially when there's so many players missing. It's like, are they sitting in our jungle right now?
Yeah.
They're sitting in our jungle right now, and you just have to play that guessing game at times, or push right through your lane and start holding hands, as I like to call it, to make sure that everyone is paired up with a buddy as you go searching for vision, and searching potentially for a bunch of people sitting in what is, I guess, a zoning brush. I was going to call it a fanatic brush, but it's almost like it needs a whole new name beat down. We'll have to see what team effectively does it the best here throughout this patch, because obviously this Dragon's not going to be around for much longer. And talking about the Dragons, 45 seconds away from the 4th one of the game, and we
look who's here.
Irrelevant's going to zone them off. Akabane able to get some healing back for the Gore Drinker, but it's going to be the Nautilus that drops. Akabane again, the target's going in.
Oh, the kick!
The kick! Lines it up so well for Misfits Premier. It's a triple kill for Woolite, and now Misfits are thinking about the Baron.
And all you can see GameWard try and do is use that curtain call to try and dissuade them from the Baron. But Austin, oh my God, what a fight from Misfits to be able to actually get that pick off, force the Flash's zone with that unstoppable onslaught.
Whoa.
Oh, wait a second.
Chayek, I don't know.
Good.
That's a question mark ping if I've ever seen one. TP's in and happily will eat a barrel combo and a bunch of Jhin damage. And the GameWard are actually relieved because now that means that they can't go for the Baron, and the Dragon is still up.
Well, we do have a TP coming through from Irrelevant, it looks like. I think he's going to try and do something. Woolite's going in.
It's a lot of damage. Flash forced out now onto Melanik. Inax has to try to kite away.
He's got a lot of health.
Flash. He uses the Gale Force. Irrelevant flashes as well to make sure he is not hit by the dredge line. A lot of low health bars, but Misfits ultimately still have their carry strong. besides Shayak, they might look to move.
Oh,
Woolite has also used the arcane shift. Akabane, is he going to punish him? Deadly Flourish is going to be blocked up. Nice flash from the dredge line. Right in the middle of the Chemtech Rift here in the zone. Akabane is ticking, but not dying. However, Chameleus will. Irrelevant gets him with the zombie passive. And now, after all said and done here, beat down after a bunch of scrapping. We'll see if anyone even goes for an objective, as it actually looks like the dragon was taken the whole time while they were fighting.
See, that's a big deal ultimately, man. That was back and forth, the scrappiest fight I've ever seen. But Misfits, they get the soul point. Thank God we're going to get a replay, because I actually really enjoyed this. You saw the ultimate come through from Irrelevant. He is zooming and moving, forcing Checolad from an area where he can't do a whole lot of damage. What does that mean? Akabane is forced out, and Tinks makes the kick of the day. He goes with the Q, the ward hop, the flash to CC everyone to set up his AD carry to be able to get the triple kill. And yeah, the Baron wasn't there because of a bit of a misplay, but they get the dragon and they're in control.
Yeah, I lost track of the dragon, not gonna lie, while they were fighting, so it's been interesting. But Tinks actually might be in some trouble, and he
that's not good.
Vander a little bit here too.
He's going back.
Go back in. I think ultimately he knows he's dead, but that's the jungler down in GameWard. They are 5. They could potentially look for a threat onto the Nash in turn. We'll see what they decide to do here with the pick.
Yeah, worth noting, GameWard still ahead in gold by about 1,000. I think Misfits are going to have to back away from this one. It's 3 versus 2, but you got a lot of health on Irrelevant side here. But look at Melanic, he's super strong.
Oh, Irrelevant, he's eating up a lot of the damage, but not for long. No one else can assist. The bot lane now of Misfits
he bought time, though.
Need to try and pull off a miracle. That's the True Shot Barrage, just does a bit of damage. That's going to stop or make it more difficult to try and find the steal. Deadly Flourish, it's going to be blocked up here from the dredge line with the help of Vander, but Woolite, he's got to deal with Checolad. Oh, if that Q connects, maybe he goes in. And
the auto.
He finds the kill, but it's at the cost of his life, and now the rest of Misfits will start to come off spawn.
See, that was a tough one. For Misfits, in their mind, it stopped the Baron at all costs, Austin, because they just need to play for this Dragon Soul in 3 minutes time. You might argue, you might disagree on whether or not it was worth it, but I think ultimately Misfits got what they wanted out of that one. They do get a kill. Woolite's managed to trade his life, and you do stop the Baron. You do slow the game down, at least for this moment here. But what they're going to have to look to do on the side of Misfits, push out some of these side waves, get in a position where they can get that mid-prio and take control over vision. Because, dude, the vision that GameWard have in and around the Baron pit is so gross. They need to make a move now as a team, or at least as a support jungle, to be able to clear out some of this vision. And, oh, man, Tinks might be in trouble.
All right, Tinks is in trouble. Rest of the squad waiting inside the zone, but the Sonic Wave will be able to jump right to the red. So he'll hold on to his life, and TP now also coming through here for Shayak, who has just picked up the Zanyas, so he's going to be able to survive a little bit easier here in these fights. Has the rapid fire cannon, 3 item power spikes coming in now for him, so let's see if he can land some of these gold cards, set up some of these fights, because things have been picking up quite a bit here over the last 5 minutes, Beatdown.
So I think this is a big opening for Misfits. Checolad is going to show on that bottom wave, and they got to know that, like, okay, we can move in and clear some of this vision around that Baron buff. But maybe, because it's under 2 minutes, they're saying, you know what, let's try and hold this bottom wave if we can, and focus our vision under this bottom side of the map. Because honestly, Baron for Chemtech Soul is absolutely not worth it here, and Misfits are probably banking on the fact that, all right, GameWard, they want to control this area of the map as well. So you can see the recalls coming through. You can see Irrelevant try to answer this bottom wave, and Misfits as a whole, they're going to try to push this vision line as far as they can, because they need this dragon.
Yeah, they do. They need it. This fight determines quite a bit for the game. GameWard looking at Akabane here to land the important smite. Meanwhile, somehow, this mid tower still standing for the side of GameWard almost at 30 minutes. They've just been holding on to this forever. But GameWard getting back on the map. Wards are resetting. Guardian Angels picked up, looking for 3 item power spikes again across the board for just about everyone now, besides a couple members on GameWard. And yeah, Woolite has certainly been playing with fire this game, to say the least, Beatdown.
He's big. He's got 3 items at this point, too. Those Mystic shots are insane. If he's able to free hit with Irrelevant being that tank, they're in a good spot. Chameleus hooks in.
Oh, he might be in some trouble.
Oh, he's stunned up. Oh, yeah.
We'll go into the stopwatch, buys a bit of time.
Oh, they're ulting.
And that was Woolite who finds the kill. Irrelevant jumped down to about half HP. Will they find an angle in? Akabane wants to set it up, but no longer continue. Here comes the curtain call. Just going to be a bit of chip damage overall. Should be blocked up from just about everyone. He's going to hold on to it, just stall out as long as he can. And, well, Misfits, they do have the numbers advantage. They found Chameleus, but it looks like they're taking resets.
Okay, you ultimately do hope to get more than losing your support for this one, but because of the force here, you have to force people to back off on the side of Misfits. You do have control over the pit, but the TP is coming from Irrelevant. No ultimate, but oh my god, all four are in the bush. Good clutch ultimate coming through from Chayek. He's going to be able to join the fray. It's a 5 versus 4.
It is. All right, Chameleus is coming back off
Soul.
spawn right now. Also have a massive top wave that GameWard are missing out on, so this is going to have to be an impactful fight from them. Here comes the Dragon start. Misfits looking for Soul Point.
Oh, he's going in.
He's able to kite away. Now Vander locked up. Will be taken down. Checolat able to find the kill. Woolite gets one back. Now both teams missing one of their members, but it's going to be one of the top laners. The tanks here down. Irrelevant out of the picture. 4k HP. Tinks is still alive. Has the smite, but doesn't have the flash. Will they go in? They're going to try to burst it.
Oh, that's Soul!
They get the Soul. Chemtech Soul is secured. It's at the cost of a few. And now the zombie passive comes out, but GameWard, they lose out on the crucial objective.
Oh, this is a big deal. They lost so much golden XP in the top lane to make this play, Austin, and they couldn't take the Soul from Tinks. He wins the 50-50. Yeah, he's gone for 30 seconds, though, and GameWard can make a play for this Baron. It's going to be their last chance here, Austin. It's going to be a nice chunk of gold, a nice objective to allow them to really fix out some of these side waves and take some turrets to get a strong lead for themselves here. But this buff is probably going to be GameWard's last chance because as Misfits, the rest of their members going for key item spikes, they're going to be unbeatable pretty soon with the zombie passive.
Tinks isn't here, so it's likely not going to be stolen. Should be secured here from Acabane. There it is. Spike comes down. Curtain call going to open up. Vander actually might end up dropping in Axe. He's hitting every single shot. Oh! He reads the play. All 4 shots connecting. Inax takes down Vander.
Really nice. Extra bit of gold coming with that Baron buff, and this is what GameWard needs to do here. They need to try and run this Baron buff to a win. 2 minutes, 40 seconds. That is all they have left here. Worth noting in that last fight, part of why Misfits ended up getting in a decent position. Checolad went down early. Now, he has the Shadow Flame. He is the big damage dealer. But worth noting, he went all in on damage. He has no Zonias to speak of, no stopwatch, no stasis. So if he's not careful, he's going to lose that flash in an inopportune position and be very vulnerable.
Oh, man. This is quite the game here for us, folks. GameWard still having the lead, up by 5,000 gold here at the 30-minute mark. The Baron is active. Starting to pick apart the side lanes is what we're probably going to see next. Chameleon's going to set up some of this vision here, and you can see the difficulty of really figuring out where they're rotating to with this rift that we currently have in the Chemtech Drake. But now, Melanik, he can start to put some pressure on the side lane. He has not really been too involved so much, 1-0-11, but he is now at that point where he's going to deal so much damage, and he's got his support here with him. But in the mid lane, Tinks looking for a play, won't find it. Deadly Flourish won't root him up.
Big.
But we'll see if they try to continue. They won't. They get the tier 2, and now they can just simply rotate off, reset if they wish. Shayak will try to get something back now on the top side.
Yeah, even with the empowered recalls, he's going to be able to do just that. Really nice heads-up play from the mid laner of Misfits to be able to shove this big wave, get some extra gold for his team. As long as he backs up right about now. Okay, great. He's going to be in a good position. Oh, he's got it. Oh, it canceled his ult!
Cancel the ultimate. Can you believe it? Shayak
he's burning.
Has made a massive misplay. No. And yeah, you're not dodging it on 4 of those. That's a tough one right there. Uses the Zonias on top of it, but ultimately he's going to drop in 40 seconds now without your mid laner for Misfits.
I mean, you know, ultimately he does end up buying some time. You can see this mid wave getting pushed in and taking the tier 2 turret, but I agree, Austin Chayek, overstaying, definitely getting punished for it nicely by the side of GameWard. That's a big deal. Any of these little advantages, I keep talking about it. Extra gold you can get with this Baron buff. You have Chayek off the map for another 25 seconds. What does that mean? You can actually threaten this inhibitor because you have Melanik on the side lane threatening this tier 2. Someone's gonna have to answer him soon.
15 seconds on your mid laner. That's the base. Broken open from GameWard at 32 minutes. Inhibitor should fall. Top wave being set up. The Baron's still active for another 20 seconds. And Melanik prepping that wave. We'll see if they can try to break a second.
It's looking like they might be able to. We're having Chayek back on the board. Worth noting, Tink spills that Force of Nature. Now he has a lot better of a chance surviving the damage here from Checolad with that health, with that MR. Gotta look for Checolad to be, or rather look for Tinks to look for that kick. We saw him do it before in that mid-fight around the Dragon. He might have to do it again with how far ahead GameWard are. I'm looking for this Lee Sin.
All right, resets. GameWard, they have taken down an inhibitor. They have a lot of gold to back and spend on, and they are looking at such a big gold lead at this point in time into the game. 7,000 golds up. 2 minutes on that Elder. And well, the thing about the Elder Dragon coming up, Beatdown, doesn't matter how far behind you are, if you can get it, you can win the team fights.
That's the big thing that we're looking for. We're at this point in the game, Austin, 33 minutes. Spawn timers are long. One big fight is going to likely win it for either one of these teams. And at the moment, again, this fight for mid-prio is coming through because we got that same Elder Drake in a minute 20. That's what both of these teams are playing for. And I like this. They're playing up in the fog. They know they have the mid-push. And if Akavane manages to catch somebody out here, it's done so. That's why I do like the Scion pick from Misfits. The fact that being able to face check, especially in this meta where this map is available, is so important.
Well, who's going to face check first? Misfits have to. They have to move in at some point or another. They got the tempt.
Oh, they're looking.
And now they're going to pull the trigger. Here we go. Relevant at the front of the line here. Does a lot of damage, but Camilius re-engages. Looking at the back line as the Cannon Barrage is going to zone off a lot of the team here. Misfits can't really get in.
That's curtain call.
Another angle. Here's the curtain call, as you said. Doesn't exactly hit the mark. A lot of low health bars, but still 40 seconds away from Elder.
Yeah, we got two major ults used by both teams. Woolite's going to get it back soon. Let's be honest, he's already speed running it. So the big thing worth noting here, GameWard, they commit that Cannon Barrage. They commit the curtain call. Two big team fighting ultimates here, and we're 25 seconds away from the Baron. Yes, Chayek not having the ult is a big deal. No Destiny is a problem, but that unstoppable onslaught from Irrelevant is here. Vander, Solar Flare's a lower cooldown. He's going to have that available very soon. When this dragon fight starts, I think Misfits have the tools to close this one out. They just need to execute.
Yes, they do. Elder now going to be alive and active. Tinks so far away from the pit right now. If GameWard decide to start it up, Irrelevant at the front of the line. Melanic looking for a barrel combo. Won't find it. Have to clear out the mid wave. Remember, there are supers still coming in through the mid lane right now against Misfits Premier. Deadly Flourish finds the marks. Tinks now down to about 60% HP. Irrelevant has that ultimate back up. If he wants to charge his way in, he's going to use it. It's going to be Akabane who tanks it up.
Oh, look at his angle.
Okay, Shayak in the back.
Oh, he's in trouble.
Flash on him, but he pops the stop.
Oh, the kick! Onto Checolad!
Is now in a lot of trouble, but they can't get to him. They'll finally get on top of him. Checolad is down. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Cannon Barrage.
The damage is so big.
Still looking at Shayak from the side, but he's not able to get back into the fight, and it's a double that comes through. It's a triple that comes through for
Look at all the zombies.
So many zombies, so much chaos. Inex is low, but he survives with a sliver of HP. And now Melanic needs the kite, needs to get away.
Two
it
zombies.
looks like he is A-okay. And some way, GameWard, they find the fight.
And this is big. Misfits don't have any members left here. GameWard looking like they're going to pick up their second win of the split, Austin. They upset Misfits Premier, who looked like they were bringing it back.
They finally get it done. We wanted to see a clean mid game. We wanted to see a strong late game. It comes together. They'll find the Nexus. GameWard, they play just about perfect. And they'll find themselves the Nexus. Woo!